Hi, good morning, everyone. Yeah, good morning. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Okay. So welcome to another masterclass. Oh, thank you, Haidri Shitu. Thank you very much. So welcome to another masterclass session today from LSTF. So today we'll be talking about the strategic procurement for competitive advantages. Before we go into that, so let me introduce myself. So for some people that don't know me, I'm Christiana Adebayo. I'm the EA and the legal support at LSCTF. So before we go into the main session, I would like to first of all talk about LSCTF and what we do for those that are joining us for the first time, actually, because I know we have some people that will be joining in. So to know what we do at LSCTF. So LSTF stands for the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. It was established in 2016. I'm a lawyer, so I would always mention the law under the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund law of 2016. So basically, why was it established and what's our mandate? Our mandate is to create an enabling environment for job and work creation in Lagos State. So we're not just about so basically, we are just about creating jobs, employment for the people of Lagos State. We're not just about just to allow people to survive. Basically, we want business owners to thrive. So it's not just about survival mode. How can we take your business to the next level? How can you move on? How can your business thrive in this economy? So that's what we're all about. And how do we do this? How do we go about this employment and entrepreneurship opportunities? How do we do this? So we do this through different mechanisms. We have our access to finance, we have our Lagos Innovate programs, we have our job hubs, we have our business support and some other mechanisms. So first, let me talk about our access to finance. If everyone can still hear me and you're still following, can I see that in the chat? I don't just want to blab on. I just want to know that at least we are all in this together. Yes, so thank you very much again, Idile Shitu. I can see I'm my number one fan. All right. So basically, I've said that in Lagos State's Employment Trust Fund, we're all about making everyone to thrive. We are not just about business owners, we're even for those artisans, those that even need you need a job, basically. Like I said, we're all about job and work creation. So now how do we do this? We do this through first, I've mentioned all this, but just to give a brief explanation, our access to finance. Our access to finance basically is all about our loan programs. So I know some of you are already aware of this. Our loan programs basically is where we give out loans to SMEs, MSMEs, those are looking for capital to actually fund their businesses. So we have our programs actually range from between 50,000 to 5 million naira. So if you're interested in getting a loan from us, you can just log on to our website at www.lstf.ng. And then over time, we'll also be putting websites, a website that you can actually log on to for more information. That will be our BSU at lstf.ng. But that's just by the way. So basically, I was talking about our access to finance, and that's our loan programs. I've made mention that we give out loans from 50,000 to 5 million naira. So at an interest rate of 9%. So if you're interested in getting a loan from us, well, you're welcome. That's what we're here basically to help you, to help the Lagos State residents. So I've made mention of our loan programs. Apart from our loan programs, we also have our employability program. Excuse me 1 minute. Yeah. We have our employability program. This is where we train the youths, not just the youths, anyone who is interested in getting the skills, in gaining whatever you need, basically. So we have those in the fashion industry, we have those in catering. If you want to learn a skill and you need training, you need support, that is why we are here. So if you have, let's say you want to learn how to make hair, barbing, you want to learn how to bake cakes, we are here for you. So we have under this employability programs, that is where we train people if you're interested in, so apart from, oh, we give you money, that is our access to finance, we also train you too. And then I would also move on to our Lagos Innovate. That's our tech arm. So this is for the tech bros and the tech sis. One thing is I don't really like online virtual. Let me just say this because it doesn't make me flow well, if I can use that word flow well, but at least just to know that people are online and you're listening. Is it a reaction or at least just a thumbs up or something, just to know that people are following? Oh, good. Thank you very much, Prince. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Okay, thank you, Azizat. I'm seeing everyone. Thank you so much. So I'm just trying to make this as brief as possible before I go ahead to introduce our facilitators. So I've made mention of our access to finance. We have our loan programs. I've also made mention of our employability program where we train people, we give them the requisite skills, we train them on how to get the necessary skills for them to survive, for them to thrive in this economy. Then I also made mention of our Lagos Innovate, where we have our tech bros and the Texas. So it's not just for those that are artisans or learning skills. We're also into the tech space. So you have anyone or yourself, you're also interested in tech, we have our tech Lagos Innovate team that are also on hand to help you with that. And how do we do this? We have our idea hub, our workspace voucher. So if you're a tech bro, you're just learning, you want to learn how to design a web, you have a web application you need help with, that's why we are here. Our Lagos Innovate team is always ready to help you with that. You can also go onto our website, or you can very soon we'll be having a Q&A session. And we're also having our live okay, I can't say anything. Is it from me? All right. Okay, can everyone hear me? Because I'm saying from the comments that someone can hear me. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So I made mention of our Lagos Innovate program. So if you're into the tech space, so under this, we have our workspace vouchers. So let's assume you're into tech, but you need a space, you need a place where you can work quietly. You don't want, okay, so you don't want, let's assume you need a quiet space where you can work and you need a space basically. You can always apply to us at LSCTF. We can get that under our workspace voucher. Then we still have our idea hub, and then we also have our hub loan. So you're into tech and then you need some money, you need some loans. Basically, you can also apply. So, but the condition is that you meet our requirements. We don't just give out money or give out loans just because, oh, I'm a Texas. You have to meet our requirements. But for more information, I've already mentioned you can log onto our website. So I've made mention of our employability, Lagos Innovate, and then our job hubs. That's where we have different people. We have different artisans. Let's assume you can make hair, you can do makeup, but you don't have a shop. You don't have a space where you can work. Then, okay, then you also have a space where you can work. You need a space. Then we are also there for you. Basically, this is just a brief introduction to what we do at LSCTF. But now we'll be going fully into our strategy session today, which is on strategic procurement for competitive advantages. So I'll be introducing our facilitator. These people are actually very dear to me because we also work in the same space and they're amazing people. So first, the presentation will be anchored by our head of procurement officer. That is Mrs. Esther Babatunde. So I would have said to give her a round of applause, but please, wherever you are, you can also give her a round of applause. So a brief introduction on Mrs. Esther Babatunde. So like I said, she's our head procurement officer at LSCTF. She's a competent procurement professional with an excellent public sector experience. She has an impeccable procurement implementation and procurement management skills. So thank you, everyone, and help me welcome Mrs. Esther Babatunde to the session. Mrs. Esther, over to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Christiana. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, everyone. Nice to have you all here on this platform, and you're welcome to our section here. This morning, like Christiana has introduced, okay. Like Christiana have introduced, my name is Babatunde Esther, and I'm working in the procurement unit of Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. This morning, our topic, as you have known, is strategic procurement for competitive advantage. So we look at categories of procurement, then the e-procurement aspect, that is the technology aspect, what we've been doing. Then the last one, we look at sustainable relationship management, that is how far the procurement how far we have gone in procurement. Okay, all right. All right, good morning, everyone, once again, and thanks for having me. Let's go through our slide. Like as before we go ahead, I would like us to go through to know what is strategic. What is strategic? Then my dictionary definition of strategic means relates to the identification of long-term or overall aims and interests and the means of achieving them. Another definition here is what is procurement? I hope you'll be hearing procurement. So the dictionary definition of procurement is a strategic process of sourcing and acquiring the goods and services that an organization needs to fulfill its objectives. Another one says, procurement is the backbone of any organization. It ensures that businesses have the goods and services they need to operate smoothly and competitively. Another one is procurement plays a critical role in the overall financial health and operational efficiency of an organization. And the last definition I have is it's about finding the right suppliers, negotiating, contracting, and managing relationship to ensure value, quality, and reliability. Let me quickly bring us to when procurement initially started. What was on the mind of so many people then was that procurement, we are of the view that in procurement, as procurement officer, you'll be giving money to go to the market to go and buy something. That was the view of so many people when procurement was starting then. Everybody believed that in procurement is about purchasing. But this morning, I would like you to know that procurement is more than purchasing, is about getting the right supplier to get what a company needs. It's about negotiating. It's not that you just get a supplier. After you've gotten the supplier, you need to sit down with the supplier to negotiate what the supplier gave to us. And then the last one is to manage the relationship with the supplier to ensure that quality and value of what we requested for is being given to us. My third slide this morning is what is strategic procurement? That is where we are going. That's what we are treating this morning in our title. What is strategic procurement? Strategic procurement is the process businesses use to acquire goods or services of the right quality at the right place and in time to meet customer needs. And it should be based on budgets. Like I said earlier, procurement is not just about going to the market to buy goods. It's all about negotiating and getting the right supplier. Also, we ensure that in procurement, we don't go out of budget. We work based on the budget that we have. Can you all hear me, please? Okay. So procurement brings about activities in line with the organization's broad objective while also reducing risk. Strategic procurement is a long-term organization-wide process.
Apologies, everyone. It seems we're having a bit of a network lag, which is why the slides are not moving. But we're currently working on that, and that will be rectified shortly. In the meantime, as Mrs. Esther Babatunde is going on, if you have any questions, you can always, there's going to be a live Q&A box that will be shared on the screen. It will be shared in the in the chat, basically. So you can always insert your questions there. So, or if you prefer, we'll still have a Q&A session after this presentation by Mrs. Esther. So you can always share your questions too. So apologies once again for the system, the network lag, but we're in Nigeria, so apologies everyone. And thank you for joining in once again. Okay, while we wait for her to get back on track, just to make mention that we're actually having this session basically, and this is because we want to carry everyone along, because we've been having questions of, oh, why am I not getting contracts from the government? Oh, I'm a vendor, why are people not patronizing me? Or what is happening? Oh, I submitted my proposal, it wasn't answered to, or you guys didn't reply me. So we're having this session for business owners and also vendors to know that there are some criteria, there's some requirements you must meet in terms of procurement before we can procure your services. So that is why we're having this session. So, Madam Esther, are we good to go?
Yes, Christiana, we are good to go.
Okay, all right. So over to you.
Each break that we had.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I was saying earlier, we are looking at the definition of strategic procurement. So, and another one here is it's closely related to the term strategic purchasing. Let's not forget I said in the earlier slide There's so many people, what is at the back of so many people is they believe procurement is about going to the market, getting whatever you need, and thereabout you make your gain, blah, blah, blah. But procurement is more than that. So the strategic procurement aspect is making us to know this morning that procurement is slightly close to purchasing and sourcing, but it includes activities such as managing budgets. Budget is something that we are always conscious of. In procurement, we are always careful not to go out of our budget because we budget everything that we do, every process that we carry out on a particular threshold. So the last definition I have of strategic procurement is it creates a procurement policy that outlines best practices, fair practices, remedies for violations. It reduces error. It identifies cost-saving opportunities. It gets rid of concerns with erratic spending and risk management. Procurement is like the EFCC that guides us, for us not to go out of our threshold. So with procurement, you will want to be very careful in your spending. So this strategic procurement that we engage in procurement profession, it makes us to be able to curb wastages. It makes us to be able to identify some cost-saving things. Then it makes us to go for the highest, the quality things. My next slide. Sorry, it's network.
Okay, so apologies once again. It seems we're having a bit of a network lag today. But just in case you have any questions, like I said earlier, please, you see the Q&A box on your screen. Kindly input your questions there. So if you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, and you have any questions concerning this session, please kindly input your questions in the Q&A box, and we'll ensure to attend to you. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. Thank you, Ayodele Shitu. All right, we'll try that. Let's see if she can start all over again because this is quite peculiar, but of course, we can always try that. Thank you very much for your input. All right. In the meantime, while Mrs. Esther is trying to get back on, just to let you all know that our employment summit is coming up very, very soon, and it's going to be an enlightening session. Basically, it's power-packed. So I would encourage everyone to log into our website, www.lsctf.ng. You'll see more information there basically on the employment summit. So it will start, is taking place July 3rd. Yes, July 3rd, 2024 at 9 a.m. So we are expecting quite beautiful minds, basically. Okay, Mrs. Esther is back on. All right. So please, employment summit, please try and join in. If you can't make it physically, it's happening at a hotel and suites, but you have to register before you be granted access into the venue. Please kindly register. And if you can't make it physically, you can also join online. So thank you very much. And Mrs. Esther, over to you.
Apologies from here, please. Apologies from here, please. It's network. We are all in Nigeria, so let's try to adjust. Okay. Like I was saying before, okay. 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 Thank you. What is public procurement? That's the next slide. We want to discuss what public procurement is. I believe we've all we know that we are Lagos State Agency, LSETF, Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. We are established by law under the Lagos State government. So we carry out all our processes based on the Lagos State government directives and rules. So what is public procurement? Public procurement is a process by which the government organizations acquire goods, services, or works from an external source to fulfill their needs and objectives. And here we made us to know that in Lagos State, we adopted the World Bank standard. I am one of their training. When procurement started in 2014, it was the World Bank people that trained us. They made us to go through some of the procurement processes. In fact, we had about three trainings on procurement. They made us we went through procurement process on goods, on works, and on services. And you know, services comprise of two things, both consultant, non-consultancy, and consultancy basis. So I would say that we are being trained, well trained, well tutored. And ever since the training, we've been applying their rules. We've been following the rules of the World Bank to carry out our procurement processes. Effective procurement goes beyond the mere transactional aspect of goods and services. It involves strategic planning through market. Thank you. So in public procurement, we have three categories. We deal in three categories. Goods. The goods aspect is goods, works, and services. The goods aspect is it depends on what you want to procure, but we'll still get to the place. Let's go through the slide. I'll still come back to that place to explain. Then the next slide. Sorry, okay. So let me take us through the procurement processes. Okay, the procurement process is a systematic series of steps that organizations, that is we Lagos State government, if you see any organization, and I'm putting you through the procurement, public procurement, organizations ensure the efficient and effective acquisition of goods and services. Procurement process ensures that purchases align with organization strategic goals and objectives. Because I want you to listen attentively on this aspect. This slide, this thing that I zoom in now, this cycle, is there are the 8 stages that will follow in the public procurement sector. that is the Lagos State government. That is why I told you earlier that we adopted the World Bank processes to carry out our procurement processes on daily basis. So this slide, the 8 procurement, we call it the 8 stages of procurement. I believe you can see my slide there very well. We call it the 8 stages of procurement. And the first thing in there is the planned procurement. That is the planning. We plan the procurement. How do we plan the procurement? On yearly basis, we have what we call in the procurement profession a procurement plan. It is a template that has been designed for every procurement organization, for every procurement ministries, MDs, agencies, parastatals. We use this procurement plan template to map out all what we are going to do, or what the agencies or the parastatals will carry out in a year. But this is based on, if you can remember, I said in our procurement processes, we are always putting into cognizance of our budget. We don't go out of budget, of our budget spendings. So this procurement plan is on yearly basis. Let me quickly digress. We have in the government organization, so we have budget and planning department. They are the ones that will plan every expenses that will carry out on yearly basis. So our procurement plan template, we make use of the budgets that they have planned. We adopt it. I'm sorry, time will not permit us to share our procurement procurement plan template here. There in the template, we have goods, we have works, we have the time that we want to carry out the processes, the time we want to carry out the processes, when it will lapse, the contractor that will carry it out for us, all those things, they are there. So those are the things that will guide us to map out the procurement plan for the year. Then under the plan also, here in each ministries, like LSTF, for example, when any department needs to carry out any procurement processes, they come up with a memo. They write a memo to us. That memo would have been approved by the head of the department or the unit that is in need of that activity. They will make us to know in their memo what they want to carry out. It depends on what they want to do. Like I said earlier, we carry out our procurement categories in different stages. We have the goods, we have the works, and we have the services. And I said the services comprises of consultancy and non-consultancy basis. So we'll still get it. So after they've given us their memo, that memo comprises of what they want to do. We as a procurement unit will go through their memo. Then from there, we'll know what to do. Then the request for documentation. Like I said, the request for documentation comes from we work based on the memo that they have submitted to us. Thereabouts, we will get in touch with, we'll get in touch with contractors, or we call them service providers. On yearly basis too, there's something that we do. We used to have a suppliers database. We carry out that at the beginning of the year, whereby we throw out a kind of document. We call it we call it a documentation. Okay, we throw it out to people. Expression of interest. Expression of interest. There we make people to know that if you are interested to carry out processing with us at LSCTF or any government organizations, every procurement unit in government organization with that, we throw it out to people. At times we can advertise it on the social media. We advertise it on the daily newspaper. With that, they should show interest. If they are interested, to be carrying out process with us on a yearly basis. With that, it will help us so that when we want to carry out procurement process, we don't need to start saying, okay, when we receive a memo to carry out procurement process, we don't need to start looking here and there for contractors or service provider. We quickly go into our procurement database to pick a qualified service provider for such processes. Then we approach the market. In this approaching the market basis is when we issue documents to those that we believe that are qualified to carry out the processes for us. We have different documents that will make use of a procurement. We use a request for quotation, which is RFP. We use request for proposal, which is request for RFP. We use RFI, request for information, and we also have a document, but that's one we don't normally use it here because we are not a construction agency. But other government parastatals make use of it, which is bidding document, is a large bidding document. Is most agencies that engage in construction that make use of it. But here in LSU, although we engage in little construction processes, but those agencies and organizations that partake in large procurement processes, they use that large document. So with that, the evaluation stage. This evaluation stage, it is a stage whereby those that we have issued documents to, those documents that I made mention earlier, those that we issued those documents to, they would have gone through the documents, because in that document that we sent to them, there are things that they need to follow. There are steps that they need to follow. There are our conditions that surround the process that we want to carry out that they need to follow. After they have done that, they will go through it, then they will give us their quotation. Let's not forget, when I was introducing the procurement process, I said procurement speaks more than going to the market to go and buy a product. It's all about processing. Procurement is about processing. So the evaluation stage is when we go through the document that those service providers that show interest in doing business with us. We go through the document that they submit for us. We go through it, and we have a committee that we call the evaluation committee. They are the ones that will go through those documents. Then we will check to know those that are qualified to carry out the process that we want to take for us. Then the negotiation aspect. This negotiation aspect is not all our procurement processes that we carry out negotiations for. We carry out negotiation majorly for consultancy basis. And in negotiation, what do we look at? In negotiation, we sit down with our would-be contractor, our consultant, we sit down with them. Let's not forget, I said in the evaluation, they submit their document for us. So those documents that they submitted for us, we look at what the financial aspect of what they submitted for us will let them to know that, okay, since we have a consultant, let me say, a group of companies submitted quotations for us, proposals. So we look at the financial aspects of what they submitted. Maybe like I said earlier, we go with ensuring procurement, we don't go out of budget. So if our budget for a particular project is 5 million, and our proposed consultant submitted a project of 6 million, you should definitely know that such a consultant has gone out of our threshold. So at negotiation, we are not going to reveal our own budget to the consultant at the negotiation. We just make them to know that is there a way that they can work out that to come down on their prices. So in some cases, the consultant, they might come down, while in some cases, some of them might not want to move their ground, maybe after considering some other things. So that is what negotiation is all about. Then after negotiation, it depends on what the outcome is. Like I said, if the consultant is ready to come down to our level, as in to reduce the submitted financial, then we are good to go. Then we move to the contract signature stage. But if such a consultant is not ready to come down, then we have to let them go. Then we have to just go to the next one. Like I said earlier, in procurement, we don't just issue a document to a single contractor or service provider. We issue documents to 3 or more as it is available in order for us to have a competitive and a much more procurement processes. So if both our agency, that is the LSTF, or any procurement organization, and the would-be consultant, if you're on the same page in terms of the finances, if there is okay with us, we'll go to the contract signature stage. That contract signature stage, we have to issue out a document to them, what we call a award letter. In the award letter, we'll state the conditions of what are their payment conditions. As we go on, you still know the payment conditions, because there we have some deductibles as Lagos State government. We have some deductibles that we carry out. So in that award letter, those deductibles and the conditions of the contract will be well stated there. But in case whereby we did not have an agreement with the consultant, we have to go back to the next consultant that we think that is having a fair price that we can work with. Then the next stage in this procurement cycle that we are talking about is the contract startup. The contract startup is a stage whereby the contractor would have been consultant, or the contractor, pardon me, like I said, we have goods, work, and service. So I'm talking in the 3 aspects, where the contractor, the consultant, the would-be service provider would have been paid a certain amount. And that certain amount will not be more than the 20% of the contract sum. So they would have been paid the 20% or the 40%, depends on the agreement and depends on the negotiation that we had. So they would have paid they will move to the site. Normally in the mainstream, I want to refer to mainstream as the Lagos State government agencies, MDAs. We used to, when it is a contract that has to do with construction, the procurement team with the company of this user department and the other professional in that aspect, they will have to take those would-be contractor to site. That is the location of where they will carry out the construction work. So that is what the contract startup is all about. Then the contract management, which is the next stage there, is the aspect whereby the would-be contractor, if it is goods, they would have supplied whatever we requested for. If it is consultancy, that consultancies, I didn't expatiate for that. Consultancy can be based on, can be training, it can be, maybe they want to carry out a program for the organization. So that contract management stage is a stage whereby let me just talk, in order not to confuse, let me talk on the aspect of construction. Contract management stage in construction is the stage whereby they would have maybe they said the 20% that we give them, maybe we say this 20%, like I said in the award letter, the conditions will be there. In the award letter, maybe say this 20% we have given you, it is after you have, maybe you carry, if it is construction, is after you have done the foundation, you get to a stage, that is when we'll be able to pay you another particular amount. Let me use an example. There is one thing that is going on here that we are going through presently in LSETF. We have had we made a contractor to know that after we have given you this so percent amount, you have to ensure that you take some of your equipment and those that are working with you, you should have gotten to site. And after we have seen that, it will be able to enable us to give you extra fund. When we get to the aspect of award letter, you understand what I'm saying better. Then the second to the last stage here is the contract closure. In that contract closure, the would-be contractor would have carried out the construction work that we want. When it comes to goods, they would have supplied us the exact good that we requested for in the same quantity that we requested for and at the right time that we agreed. That is the contract closure. Then after we have inspected what they've given to us, we've inspected and every department that are involved, they have certified that what they deliver to us is okay. There's something that we call in procurement, we call this, I've forgotten it for now, pardon me for that, but there's something that there is a template that we give to everyone. If we are supplying for us, we give it to job completion, then job completion. So in this aspect, the job completion, the person that supplies us good will have to fill the job completion we give to us. So that is what contract closure is about. But when it comes to works, there is also another job completion too. So they will have to sign the job completion they will give to us after we are certified that what they've given to us is okay. Then the disposal aspect. This disposal aspect, you see that it's in red. Why is in red? This is not all everybody in government parastatals that carry out disposal procurement. They don't engage in it. But the same way that we acquire government property is the same way that we dispose them. So disposal of government properties will have to go through the same processes. That is, we invite people to submit a proposal if they want to proposal. We go through all the stages of procurement, just like, but the only difference in this disposal aspect is in disposal aspect, it is the highest bidder, somebody that give us the highest amount that will dispose that will give the I don't want the equipment to. It depends on what you want to dispose. Like for example, maybe the ICT, there are some obsolete computer parts that are not functioning, that are not fit for the government office again. And also maybe in the admin and HR department, is discovered that some furnitures are not fit for the offices again. So we'll put all those things together. We put a committee, we have to sit on it. They will now put a price tag on those items. So those are the items that will put forth to those that are interested in buying them. So it is the person that gave us the highest amount that we dispose for. Unlike a procurement process that we go for the person that have the lowest amount. So the need identification, like I have explained, the supplier research and selection, the tendering, like I said, the RFP evaluation, all that. So the next slide here is the key aspects of procurement. It's just the same thing like what we have explained earlier. So identifying the needs of the organization and specifying requirements for goods, works, and services, conducting market research, negotiating contract, like we are saying, managing supply relationship, operating. So the next slide, the e-procurement aspect. This e-procurement has to do with technology. all what we have been doing before now in Lagos State, in fact, in the den of Lagos State, so many people might not really know, but I still think that it's just the business as usual. So many people before now, they believe that when anything that has to do with Lagos State government is always slow. In fact, where they used to keep their documents is this, is that. People don't have good mindset when it comes to Lagos State government. But I'm glad to tell you, to inform you this morning, that Lagos State government is doing a fantastic job when it comes to technology. We have ensured that most of our processes, not even in procurement alone, even in registry, we are on E. We ensure that all our processes all are carried out through technology, on technology basis. So that's what we call e-procurement. E-procurement is the automation, is the use of software and tools to digitize and streamline procurement processes. We start from supplier selection and contract management. In e-procurement, like unlike before, that we have to go to the market, we do this. Before now, those that carry out processes, that is the, so I don't know, because I'm new in service in kind of, but like I'm talking about 30 years ago, those that engage in going to the market to buy things, I'm sure when they want to procure, buy things, they will have to go to the market to know the price of things. But with the help of technology now, we don't need to go to anywhere. You just sit in the comfort of your office, you go onto Google. Then also, there's something that I need to make mention. In Lagos State government, we have a template that is being prepared by the uh, budget, this budget ministry. That template comprises of the prices of everything that we need to buy, from telephone, the biro, the pen that we use in the offices. That template comprises of the price of everything. So by the time you want to, in procurement, if you want to buy anything, we used to make use of that document. Like say a contractor give us a price, we will quickly consult the document to ensure that the price they've given us is not out of line. So that is what technology has been doing for us so far. Technology has been helping us to carry out our procurement processes on an easier basis. So the automation brings numerous benefits to the procurement function, which include efficiency. By automating routine tasks, organizations can reduce, if I mean, like I said earlier, organization means BLSTF, for all government organizations, can reduce the time and resources spent on transactional activities, allowing procurement teams to focus on strategic aspects such as supplier relationship management and strategic sourcing. It makes us to be efficient. It makes us to reduce our stress of saying, oh, I want to process this. You, Damlola, can you please quickly go to the market, go to Tajudin and Sons, go and check how much is selling the laptop. We don't need to do all that. So it makes our work to be much more easier. Then error reduction. We all know at times, in fact, at times when I'm working with on my computer and I want to do some calculations with then back then when we were in school, when you want to do calculation, use your pen and paper. So you are bound to make errors when it comes to large figures. So technology has really helped us in our procurement processes to ensure that we don't have errors in our calculations. So automation minimizes the risk of human error in procurement processes, leading to more accurate order processing, invoicing, and record keeping. Like I said earlier, we keep record of all our procurement processes. So technology has helped us in a long way to avoid all these errors. So like now, if any department, in fact, they have seen procurement as an archive. What I mean by, if any department or any unit needs any document, they quickly rush down to procurement. That procurement, like last year we gave you this, please can you please give us Can you please help us look for this? And being a dependable department unit that we have, we'll quickly check on our system and we get the document for them. So in record keeping, procurement, we are, I don't want to say we are good, but to some extent, we are okay. So technology has really helped us to avoid such error and to ensure that our record keeping is of great essence. Another thing that technology has been aiding us with in procurement is improved compliance. Procurement software can enforce procurement policies and procedures, ensuring that all purchases comply with organizational standards and regulatory requirements. In procurement, we have some things, stages that we follow on. So this e-procurement has really been help for us and make us to be much more compliant. There's no way, like anybody that did not register with us, we are still going there. But anybody that the compliance aspect that I just want to be, anybody that's not registered with us in Lagos State, there's no way the person will be able to carry out processes for us. So that's just the compliance aspect. Then the last one is it enhances visibility. Automation tools provide real-time insight into procurement activities, spending patterns, and supplier performance, enabling better control and management of the procurement function. So the digital procurement platform. The rise of digital procurement platform is streamlining the procurement processes, offering end-to-end solutions that cover everything from supplier discovery and e-tendering to contract management and analytics. These platforms are making procurement more accessible, efficient, and scalable, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises. What I'll simply say here is this, with the help of technology, as a contractor, as a service provider, as a consultant, you don't need to come to our offices physically before you can carry out processes for us. So that is what technology has been doing. Technology has been doing a very big, it has been helping us in a big way. You sit in the comfort of your home, we send documents to you, you access it, you reply us back through the same medium, and then we go into every other processes. So technology has been doing a very fantastic job for us. So in Lagos State, let me quickly go through this process. In Lagos State, generally, that is Lagos State government, we collaborated with the Ministry of Science and Technology to commence the use of technology in PPA. PPA means Public Procurement Agency, which I am from. So we went into collaboration with them to help us to move us from the paper aspect to digital, to the e-procurement aspect. So files were being converted to electronic format through a process called the EDMS, starting with the registration unit. So this slide that I'm moving to is just the digital, is a graphical representation of what happened up to the last state that we had now. So let me quickly explain this slide. Say the starting with the registration. Okay, we'll go there. We are going there. So the key activity status, e-tendering. This e-tendering has to do with, like I said, in 2019, we came up with, we started carrying out our processes online. So that's what we mean e-tendering. E-tendering is we tell our, okay, let me start with this. If you want to do business with Lagos State government, you need to register. You need to register with the Lagos State Government Procurement Agency. And you can register with as low as 10,000 naira. We still see that slide. So the e-tendering has to do with every of our processes are being carried out online. Then the e-notification, when we want to send your award letter to you, we no longer do it on paper based. We do all our processes online. Then the e-bidding is talking about the processes that we carry out, whereby we issue documents to the contractor. They will go through the document. There's no time is of essence, so we would have shown you what the bidding document, the document that we are talking about, we would have shown you. Then the payment gateway, payer ID creation, we carry out all those things online. We don't need to go to the bank to queue at the bank for long hours in the name of want to pay for a service. Maybe we want to pay for a tender, maybe you want to pay for a document, maybe we want to pay for anything. We carry all those things out on our computer through the use of e-technology. Then the vendor registration, which is the aspect that concerns most of our, those that are viewing us this morning, the vendor registration. The next slide is talking about sustainability relationship management. But let's quickly go, permit me to switch to these categories of registration. Then we'll go back to those two slides because we need to go through this one before we speak on that for you to have clearer understanding. Like I said earlier, we have categories of procurement processing. Likewise, we have categories of registration. And I said earlier, with 10,000 naira, you can become a contractor with Lagos State. And that is not limited with LSTM. It does not mean that when you register, you can carry out process with LSTM. Once you are registered with PPA, you can carry out processes with any government parastatals, be it local government, be it the state government, be it at any state. Once it is Lagos State government, you can carry out the businesses with them. So the first, we have different classes, class A to J. Categories of registration, we have classes A to J. The first class, then in this second, we have contract value threshold, contractors, suppliers, works and goods, then consultancies / non-consultant, like I said earlier. Then in the class A aspect, which is 500,000 and below, that is the contract threshold. That is somebody that wants to register under this class, you register with as low as 10,000 naira. Then your annual fee is going to be 5,000 naira. Then let's look at the caption up here. Is talking about, like I said earlier, we have three categories of procurement: the goods, the services, and the works. But in this aspect, it's talking about the contractors, that is the goods and the works aspect. So when you register with 10,000 naira, on yearly basis, you need to do your annual renewal with 5,000 naira. Then the class of people that, the class of what you can carry out for us is we should exceed 500,000 below. That is when you want to carry out process for us, maybe you want to help us to buy some things, or you can't even say construction. It has to do with goods majorly. So it's 500,000 below. You can't exceed that. Anything that exceed 500,000 with that registration category, you won't be able to do it. We have turned back so many people like that off, that maybe a contractor wants to bid for a contract that is 10,000, that is 10 million, and what the contractor registered for is something that is not up to that. We have to tell such a contractor that no, you are not qualified for this. So, and then the class category B of it is above 500,000 to 5 million. And the registration fee for that is 15,000. Then the annual renewal fee is 10,000 naira. You do that on a yearly basis. The registration covers from January to December. That is then by January of the following year, you are expected to renew your certificate. And then the Class C is for people that want to carry out processes for above 5 million to 10 million naira. Your registration fee in that aspect will be 50,000 naira. Then you are to do an annual renewal of 50,000. The Class E, ditto to Class E. Class E is for people that want to go for contract or goods of 100 million and 250 million to 250 million. With that, you can register with 250,000 naira, and your annual renewal fee is going to be 75,000 naira. For Class F, that is above 250 million to 1 billion. Your annual renewal, your registration is going to be 500,000. Then your annual renewal is 250,000. Then for Class G is those that are in the class of 1 billion to 5 billion. Your annual registration is going to be 2 million. Then your annual renewal is going to be with 500,000. For Class H, 5 billion to 10 billion, you have to register with 3 million naira. Then you have to do your renewal with 1 million naira. Above 10 billion to 20 billion, that is for Class I. The registration amount is 5 million. Then the annual renewal fee is 2 million. Then the last class that we have for now is Class J, which is above 20 billion. The registration for that category is 10 million, and the annual renewal stands at 4 million. Then when it comes to consultancy, like I said earlier, consultancies comprises of consultancy services and non-consultancy services. The registration for Class A in consultancy is 10,000 naira, and the annual renewal for that is 5,000 naira. For Class B in consultancy is 15,000. The annual renewal is going to be 10,000. The Class C, 30,000, annual renewal will be 15,000. Class D, 75, the annual renewal will be 25,000. Class C up to Class J. Class J is 5 million naira, then the annual renewal will be 1.5 million naira. So those are the categories of registration that we have. So it depends on you, on what you want to do, that will determine the class of registration that you will go for. Then the required list that we requested from all our would-be suppliers, all our would-be contractors, all our would-be consultants that want to do business with us. The first thing that we ask for, application letter, signed and dated on company's letterhead. If you want to register with us, you need to have an application letter. That application letter should be in your company's letterhead, because anybody can come up with an application letter. So, but once it is on a company's letterhead, then we know that it's an authentic, that we know that such a person is a serious, company is serious and they want to do business with us. Then the second thing, that document that we request for is CAC certificate. CAC certificate. The CAC certificate is something that I believe that every one of us know what it is, but if you don't know, you can still CAC certificate. Then in that CAC certificate, there are some forms that come with our CAC certificate, which is Form 2, Form 7. Then Memorandum of Association 2 is something that comes with the CAC. Then here, tax and development levy for 3 years. We expect that any company that wants to carry out process with us are taxpayers. So we expect that they should have they should be people that are paying their tax on regular basis. Then a company profile. That company profile is what is a representation of what they do in their company. They will all be replicated is a document that they will send to us, that then we don't need to consult them. Once we open their company profile, we know what they are doing, we know what they are about, and there too also we know what they have done before. Then another document that we request for is details of 2 key staff. Those 2 key staff, we ask for the CVs of those 2 key staffs and their academic certificate. Then oaths. With that oath, you go to Lagos State Ministry of Justice to go and sworn an oath. Then you bring it to us. This is another one is details of the directors, details of those that are the directors of the companies. We ask for that. Then passport photo to ensure that those that we are relating with, that they are actually human beings, that they are not robots. Then another one is government valid means of ID, that is valid means of identification card, to ensure that the person is really existing. And then the last one here is CV and academic certificate. It's just like I explained. So those are the documents that we request from people that want to carry out registration with us. Then this aspect is something that always gives us issues in procurement. They are the statutory charges. Some people, after you've given them, they will be like, we are not aware that, is it not, why do you need to deduct from us when we are carrying out services for you? No, as like we are Lagos State, and every money, every fund that we are using in Lagos State, they are taxpayers' money. And so we need to put them into, we need to put justice into everything we do. Let's not forget in the introduction, Christina made us to know that she is a lawyer. So likewise, in all our procurement processes, we have an aspect whereby we send documents to the legal unit, so legal people too, they have an aspect that they carry out in our procurement process. So like I said, procurement is not just going to the market, it entails different processes. So the statutory charges, the first one is agreement fee. That agreement fee goes directly to, once it's being charged from all our processes, it goes directly to Ministry of Justice. Then the other one is administrative fee. That's 0.25% of the total contract sum. The 0.5% is the total contract sum of every procurement processes. Then another one is withholding tax, that also is 5% of the total contract sum for business names, and for limited liability companies, we charge 10%. Then the last one there is development levy. Lagos State Development Levy, we charge 1% of the total contract sum from each of the contract or goods that we carry out. Then the last one is 7.5, which is, this one is, we call it constant K, value added tax. Is a constant thing that we deduct from all our processes. So let's quickly go back to those 2 slides that I omitted, if time will permit me, because my moderator has been giving me signs. So sustainability relationship management, that this procurement process and technology has given us. As business become more dynamic, there's growing need for procurement strategies that are tailored. That's story. Then the last, strategic procurement enables organizations to enforce sustainability standards and ethical practices among their suppliers, aligning with corporate social responsibility goals and regulatory requirements. So made us know that these activities include identifying business needs, all those, we don't need to go there. Let me not bore you. The last one here that I want us to dwell on is, the aim is not just to buy, but to ensure that purchases support the strategic goals of our organization. Our aim is not that, oh, we have money, we just want to go to market. Oh, let's say a unit just needs something. Oh, we want to buy HR, admin and HR. Let me use admin and HR, for example. Say, oh, we have money in our budget. Let's just buy some. So the aim is not just buying, but ensuring that all our purchases, all our processes and follow a strategic goals, and it's beat up with what our goal as an organization. So, and in all our purchases, we ensure that we have cost savings. We don't just spend all our earnings. We ensure that in all our processes, we have little thing to fall back on. Like when an example is when somebody gives us a document, they propose an amount for us. We don't just approve the total amount they give to us. We ensure that we have little deductions from such amounts. So also innovation, quality improvement, and risk management. The effective procurement strategies can lead to significant cost savings by optimizing spending. It's also the same thing. The crucial aspect of procurement is its impact on sustainability and ethical sourcing. Organizations are increasingly held accountable for their supply chain practices, from environment impact to labor practices. I want to close this morning with this. When an organization is thriving very well, all hands are always being pointed to procurement. Not even here, not in LSTF alone. In most of the organizations I've worked with, you say procurement, you're the one that procure this, you're the one that procure that. I went to an office one time and they discovered that the AC that they procure was not functioning well. And somebody said, hey, procure, sorry, pardon me for using you, but procurement, see what you procured is not working well. We're like, it's not procurement that manufacture, although we've certified those things, okay. It's not procurement, but we know there is definitely there's something that we call a factory error. So at times procurement, we are not good in that aspect. Like I said, when we are being supplied products, not only procurement that will certify those things, the units that are in need of those things, we certify it. Our professionals too will certify it. So when there's an error in something, so it's not procurement alone that people should be pointing fingers to. So I'm closing this point to let you know that in procurement, we ensure that we carry out our processes on a diligent basis, and we ensure that value for money is always being carried out in all our processes. And we are always fair to all. We don't say because somebody is my relation. That is why when we are doing something, there's something we call disclosure of interest. We ensure that you as a procurement, you don't have relationship with a particular contractor before you could give them job. We ensure such a thing don't happen. So we are always fair, and the way we deal with a contractor A is the same way we deal with contractor B. We ensure that information that we give to all our contractors are the same. We don't hold back information from anyone. That is why in our document, we always put there that in case you need clarification, come into procurement, call us, or reach out to us via mail, reach out to us via our phone numbers. So procurement is, we operate open procurement in LSTF and all government organizations. Thank you for having me.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mrs. Esther. That was a wonderful presentation. We just wanted to say thank you and for this amazing presentation. I know some of our viewers have questions, our listeners, basically, they have questions. So just to remind everyone that please kindly type in your questions under the Q&A. And Mrs. Esther, please don't run away. There is one thing There are some clarifications basically, so please don't run away, but at least thank you. I have like 2 questions for you, Mrs. Esther, please, if you're still listening. So you made mention when you were presenting concerning the payments to be made. So I know basically in a summary, for everyone to engage in business transaction or to get a contract from any government parastatal, they have to be registered under the Public Procurement Agency. They have to register with the Public Procurement Agency. So now, and you also made mention of the categories and the payments and the amounts they are to pay. So I know you presented a slide basically on the payments. I wanted to ask, or our viewers would also like to know, peradventure a person paid, let's assume the person paid under the payment category, he made payment of the registration fee of 10,000 naira, which would cover the 500,000 and below in terms of the contracts or the business he can get from the government. What if the person needs to get, let's say, above 20 billion naira? I know you made mention of that, that person will not be qualified. But what would you advise that company or the individual or the business owner to do? Or basically, how can they go about this upgrade? How can you upgrade your threshold, basically? So that's the question, Mrs. Esther.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. What the company will simply do is they will have to contact Lagos State Public Procurement. It's better they even go in person, or maybe they send mail to them. They will write letter for an upgrade to the threshold, to the category they want to go into, and they will have to go and pay payments of that category.
Okay,
Do you get?
okay.
Did
Yeah,
I answer
thank
your
you.
question rightly?
Yes, yes, you did. Thank you very much. Although
Right.
we still like to know, for example, we would like to know basically which the procurement agency, where is their head office, and then their email address or any other contact we can get for our viewers, our listeners, so they will be able to get in contact with those people. It's easy to just throw out names, go to procurement agency, go and do this. We need to also help them. That is why we have the business support unit organizing this masterclass. So help our SMEs, our MSMEs, at least so they can be able to move forward in their business to get contracts from the government. So how can they, is there a head office, and where is the head office? And do they have a hotline or an email address when we can reach out to this agency?
All right, thank you so much. Yes, their office is inside the Lausa Secretariat, block 22. I don't want to make a mistake now. You know, those blocks, they are joined together, block 21, 22, 23, they are together. You understand? But once you get there, you can ask, and once you get into Alausa, but I believe it's block 22. Block 22. But we'll still get it to you. We'll get it to you, the main address, but they are inside Lagos State Government Secretariat, Alausa, block 22, Lagos State Public Procurement Agency. Then there is www.lsppa.gov.ng.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll ensure to type that in the chat box so everyone can see it. So if you want to get registered, you need more information, you can always go to that website. And then one last question, Madam Esther, and this is just by the way. How did you become a procurement officer? Did you just wake up one morning, because this is a unique field? You just woke up one morning and just decided I want to go into procurement? Or how did this, in case we have anyone that may be interested, to join the procurement agency, did you just wake up one morning and say, no, procurement is the next way forward, let me just join? Or how did this come about? Yes, Mrs. Esther, we're waiting for the answer. Yes.
Is it, that's I need to ask. I say, is this part of what we are doing this morning?
Yes, it
All right.
is. In case we have someone that wants to join the procurement agency, what happened? How did you come about this career?
Okay, thank you. Okay. And as a Lagos State government staff, I didn't really come in as a procurement. Procurement commenced in year 2012, then during the administration of a former minister, Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola, he came up with a circular saying now in the circular it was stated that for everybody that is a new cadre that World Bank proposed, then I don't want to go into details, let me not go into that. So they come up with a circular that is a procurement cadre that for everyone that is interested should apply. So I'm an admin person. So many of us applied. We went through some process. It was lateral conversion. So they didn't step every one of us down. So that's how I came about being a procurement officer. So ever since 2012, so the journey thus far.
Oh, thank
Did
you
I
very
answer
much.
your question right?
Yes, you did. At least let's get to know you, even though it's after the presentation, but at least let's know our speaker. But thank you very much for this session. Thank you for answering our questions, and thank you in general. So we'll be moving on to the next segment of this show, of this session, basically. Our next speaker is also a procurement officer. Just to say for any question, we'll be answering that in this segment. So our next officer is also a procurement officer. His name is Mr. Olaide Olalere. Please, everyone, help me welcome Mr. Olaide Olalere to this masterclass session. Mr. Olaide, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon.
Having you here. Nice having you here. So I would give a brief bio of Mr. Olaide. He's a successful procurement and project manager with 7 years of experience managing business purchases, securing the best products and services at the lowest prices. So Mr. Olaide has profound experience in purchasing, contract negotiation, compliance, stakeholders management, and public procurement process management. He has worked across a range of industries, including mining, manufacturing, and public service, ensuring that the most optimum contracts are negotiated to maximize cost efficiency, quality, and profitability. So thank you very much, Mr. Olaide, and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this is a fireside chat, so we'll be having a Q&A. So like I said, kindly include your questions in the Q&A. I would ensure to answer everything if time permits, but we will try to get as much questions as possible answered. Mr. Olaide, basically just a brief summary, just to summarize everything Mrs. Esther said. So if we are getting it correctly, it's just that to ensure that business owners, they get registered with the Public Procurement Agency, if that's correct.
Sorry, please come again. I missed that.
Oh, okay. So we said that basically this session is to ensure that for everyone, for every business owner, every company that wants to get contracts, that want their proposal approved by the government, they have to be registered with the Public Procurement Agency, if I'm correct.
Yes, very correct.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
okay. So basically in just 2 sentences, can you give us like what are the advantages? Apart from getting the contracts, what are the advantages of me registering? Like I decide not to register and I don't want to work with the government, but why do you think there's a need for business owners to actually register?
So thank you, Christina. So the first thing is if you're registered with PPA, it gives you leverage to get a contract with any Lagos State agency. So Madam Esther made mention of something. So it's not only that you have to work with the fund, I mean LSETF, if you register on PPA. So if you are registered on PPA platform, you have the opportunity to get contract from any Lagos State agency or MDA. So one very good advantage of it is in Lagos right now, in order to encourage the MSMEs, what the government has done is to decentralize the procurement process. And what do I mean by that? So it means every MDA, every entity has the right to do his own procurement process. So like the fund, if I need A4 paper or I need stationaries, I don't need to go to the central procurement platform to do that. So I can do that on behalf of the fund. And what it means is, so smaller MSMEs can then now have opportunity. Because if I'm doing that on a large scale, you know, all those big firms will muzzle out those smaller MSME. So those are the advantages. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Lide, for that brilliant answer.
Christina, do I answer your question?
Yes, you did. I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So another question that we have here is it necessary to register with LSCTF in addition to the registration with the PPA agency for LSCTF contracts? So if you have, at least there's a contract coming in from LSCTF, do they need to register with us specially before they will need to register with, after the registration with the Lagos State Public Procurement Agency?
Yeah, they need to do that, but it's not something so big. So it's just a two-pager document, just to have your name, your account details, and some other things. So, but you need to do that. We need to have you registered as a vendor for the fund. Yeah.
Okay. So we also have another question from one of our listeners, Yetunde Dowu. She would like to know that how do you ensure quality items are procured in area you're not familiar with? For example, you're procuring IT materials and you're not an IT expert. How do you ensure quality items?
So it's always a challenge for procurement officers because we can't know all. But the thing there is, in this age and time, you know, the internet is always there for you to do your background check. And again, everything we are procuring is for the use of a unit or the other. So in our evaluation process or our, you know, other processes, so what we do is to involve the user unit and the expert. So if I'm buying IT equipment, I make sure that somebody from the IT unit is on the evaluation team, so they can give their, you know, very professional and technical opinion. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I hope our listeners, our viewers are still online because we're almost done, but at least we needed to just treat some questions that were coming in. Mr. Lide, there's another question too. Can a registration with the Bureau of Public Procurement or any other registration whatsoever, can it be used instead of the Lagos State Procurement Agency registration?
So that's a capital no. So the PPA law, as amended of year 2021, clearly states that you have to register with Lagos State Procurement Agency for you to undertake any procurement process or engagement with Lagos State. So you have to be registered with Lagos PPA.
Okay, thank you very much. There's a question from Ismaila Abdullahi. He said, good afternoon. Is the procurement published by every MDAs? If so, where and how often?
So on the general platform of the PPA, we have a place where you have the tendering. So the MDAs put up their requisition on that platform. But one thing I cannot answer authoritatively is if all MDAs do that. But there is a platform for that on the Lagos PPA.
Okay. Thank you very much. And just to reiterate, I can see a couple of persons raising up their hands in the participants column. I would advise that please kindly make use of the Q&A box. You'll see it at the left-hand screen, the left hand of your screen, please, so we can answer all questions that are imputed there. So kindly comply with this. Thank you very much. We have another question, Mr. Olaide.
Yep.
So this is from Amina Bangbo Palabi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Apologies, Amina.
Yeah.
So she said she's the founder of Zaya Fabrics and More, where she sells fabrics and accessories. So for a business like hers, how can she go about getting manufacturers paid with yuan currency? Because it is difficult to get manufacturers paid with their currency. And also, how can she get good pricing when buying from them?
Yeah, so if I understand that question very well, Diane that she mentioned, so she must be speaking to buying from maybe China or something. So yeah, so the question is a bit out of context, but the thing there is, I think she was talking about sourcing for foreign currency. So
Yeah.
that has to do with the CBN or maybe the Bureau de Change or something like that. But the other part in saying how does she negotiate for better deals? So I wouldn't know. Maybe this can now go to the organizer. Maybe they can do another, training for negotiation skills. So I think there's an aspect like that. And she can do that too on the internet to just sharpen her negotiation skills. So I think that we, yeah.
Thank you very much for that brilliant reply. And also to respond, I don't know if I mentioned this or I might have omitted this at the beginning of the session. So we have our business support unit. So basically, they are here to support you concerning these questions that you may need to ask, which are not parts of this session. So we have different masterclass sessions. At times we have the legal, the HR. So you might have some other questions pertaining to, let's say, maybe you need a lawyer or something. You might have questions like that you need consultancy services. So I'm just saying you can also reach out to our business unit at bsu@lsctf.ng. We're putting that on the screen also on the chat box, bsu@lsctf.ng. So any questions you have, they may not pertain to this session, but please kindly input it there. We'll try and get back to you as soon as possible via mail or other communications, just to ensure that we answer to everyone. So we are here for you. We are here for the citizens of Lagos State. So even if we have questions that are not related to this particular session we are having, we would always ensure to get back to you on any other one you have, provided that you send an email of your questions to this address, to this email address. So thank you very much for that. And then also just to mention, okay, that we have a poll on the screen, which has popped up. I'm sure everyone has seen it. Please kindly fill it in with the required information. So this is just to know how to serve you better in terms of our services, to improve in what we deliver. So kindly ensure to fill it in. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. Laide. Still a couple of questions, the fireside chat. And I'm not this rigid, oh, we have to. I just wanted to know basically, at least, because we just introduced you, basically your bio and everything. I already asked Madam Esther this, but I would also like to know, in terms, okay, I just asked about how she got into it, but I would like to ask you, as a person, over time, what are the challenges as a procurement officer? What are the challenges you faced that you feel if the citizens or if business owners were aware of this, we as procurement officers won't be going through this? So basically, what are the things that we should know as MSMEs, as business owners, as individuals to make your job easier?
It's okay. Thank you so very much. I get that. But please permit me to go back to Ismaila Abdullahi that was asking that whether we publish on every MDA's platform. So let me just add to that, with the power conferred on every entity that we can procure on ourselves. So for the fund, on our website, we have our RFP posted at intervals when we have requests for them. So they can always check our website as well for requisition. So just to add to that. Then to come back to your latest question. So the thing there is, one of the greatest challenges is invoicing. So we've had so many challenges with invoicing. So those elements that Madam Esther mentioned, those statutory charges, then the VAT element is very, very important. So we see people submitting their invoice without the VAT element. And God help you too as a procurement officer that you don't take note on time. So by the time you get to the point of payment, you then you start having those issues. So it's VAT is compulsory. You have to pay your VAT. So the other problem that might arise is the finance unit might take away the VAT even when you have not added it. So on that instance, we are shortchanging you. So add your VAT, let your invoice be well done, your tax identification number, your TIN, every element that is supposed to be on the invoice should be on the invoice. So that's one great challenge, and it's very, very germane. So I hope that can be addressed. Yeah.
So we'll try and tell everyone to make sure. I know indirectly you're telling us at LSCTF that we need to also, when we're talking to our vendors, we need to at least let them know all this information. So we'll definitely try and pass it along.
Yes,
there's also a question here from Muhyiddin Adekunle. He wanted to know if the status report from CAC can replace from CO2 and from CO7. Okay, please.
Okay. Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Basically, I think this is something I can answer to, and then Mr. Lide, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I may be coming at it from a legal point of view. So I know there is this CACE status report that has been generated, which is to replace the Form CAC 1.1, where we have our company registration, and then BN1, business name registration, and then the IT Form 1. So basically, I think the CSU status reports can, because it provides for the name of the directors, the shareholders, and every other information. But please correct me if I'm wrong. If in terms of the Public Procurement Agency, this e-status report would not suffice, and they really need to get their from CO2 and from CO7.
Yeah, it's okay. So that's why I asked you to go ahead. You've been a lawyer, so I know you'll be more inclined in this regard. So what the requirement says is CO2 and CO7. So I wouldn't know if this is a new development and if it will be acceptable on the PPA platform, but it's something we can confirm and then I'll get back. So, but for now, it's well stated that it's CO2 and CO7.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Like I said, even though we have some new laws, new changes, things are coming in, new developments, basically, each agency still have their requirements. So if they're saying we want this, we want the name of your directors, your shareholders, then at least just to get what you want, you have to comply, because everyone, even if there's a slight discrepancy or there's a slight change, at least you still have to comply. So, which is why we're having this session, to enlighten you more on all this. We have basically Azizat Kaka, I think she needs more clarification, more explanation on contract management. I don't know if you can do justice to that, or we'll have Madam Esther, because she presented her slide, but Olaide, please, you can also throw more light on this in terms of contract management.
So, is relative. So I will just speak to contract management with regards to the fund. I mean, LSCTF. So is all-encompassing. So we're not just looking at having you for that particular transaction. So that the moment you are registered with us, we take you in as a contractor. So, and then the management starts. So I want to term it as a contract relationship. So it's not just a one-off thing. The moment you are on our contractor register, anytime we have anything similar to what you are doing, we send it to you directly. We don't put it on our website or something. So we engage you directly. So, and then we make sure that at the beginning of the year, even if you don't remember, we remind you to register for your PPA and all of that. Then even in terms of invoicing, we've had the cases where we have to engage contractors one-on-one to, and then try to well, I wouldn't want to say teach now, just enlighten them on how to go about the invoicing. So it's very relative. It's very relative. It's not something that, so it's wide. It's wide.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lydie, for that answer. There's also another question here. For example, you've talked about getting the PPA certificate, so registering with the PPA agency. You also mentioned the website. So on the website, just to know, does the website give information on contracts? There's this, for example, I know we give out RFP, RFIs. Does this website, does it give out information like that so that people, our vendors can know, oh, there's this opportunity, there's this business proposal that is that LSTF needs, or this particular agency needs, if you are qualified for it, please apply. Does the website give all those information?
Yes, please. So on the website, there is a portion where we have a tendering. So people can always visit that. So the RFP that are still open are always there. So they can visit there. If they are qualified for the service we require, they can please apply. So, and I can tell them for free that we still have one that is open now. So they can visit our website if they are qualified. So that's for the PTI service provider. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're almost done, basically. Just to ask, for example, a person misses, it was stated while Mrs. Esther was giving her presentation that you have to renew every year. So, for instance, a company misses renewal for a year. Would they need to re-register, or how do they go about it? Do they pay for the year they missed, or what's the procedure like?
Oh, okay, thank you, Christina. So one other thing Madam Esther mentioned was, the e-procurement. So the thing there is data capturing. So the moment your data is captured once, you have registered. So subsequently, what you do is to renew. So even if you miss a year, or you don't renew for 2 years, whenever you are coming back, you are still you. So you just renew.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you so much for that brilliant answer. So this is just to encourage all our vendors. The reason why we're having this session, just to buttress, is because we've seen over time that we have beneficiaries of LSTF that want to engage, want to patronize you, but we can't because you don't have a PPA certificate. And then when we look at it, we're like, oh no, this person does not qualify. This person does not qualify. Why? Because there's no PPA certificate. So at times you may get rejected and you wonder, well, let's say they even get back to me. Oh, I didn't hear from them. The question you should have yourself is, first, have you met all the requirements? Do you have your PPA certificate? So this session is to encourage all our beneficiaries, vendors, even business owners out there. You don't know when an opportunity might come in. Even it's not just particular to LSTF, other ministries, departments, agencies, and Olaide can back me up on this. Of course, other ministries, agencies, they also require PPA. Am I wrong?
Yeah. So the thing there, just to have a very, one and complete answer for it is, if you are rendering any service for Lagos State government, you have to be registered with PPA. So I think that just settles it. So irrespective of the MDA, the parastatal, the whatever entity you are dealing with, you have to be registered.
Yeah, so irrespective of you being a beneficiary of LSTF or you've been working with us as far back as 2016 when we established, you have to get your PPA. I know recently we had that issue. We're trying to get a consultant to, I think, conduct an appraisal or something. And then we noticed that the person did not have their PPA. And we really liked their presentation. We wanted them because we feel they can do the job. But in most instances, do we have to now start calling, hello, please, can you give us your PPA? Most times we don't even, that's what we actually term this strategic procurement for competitive advantages. Right. For you to have an advantage and the edge over someone else, over another company. So that PPA gives you an advantage, just like get another extra certification to show that, yes, I can do the job. So you don't get the opportunity to start calling you one after the other. Please, do you have PPA? No. So just have all your documentations ready. You can start small. Of course, you can always upgrade. In case you are still a small-time business owner, you don't really have the money or the person, you can just start small. At least that's the, you still have like 500,000 and below to get contracts from us. From there, you are building a good reputation with LSCTF that, oh, I've done this business with them once. Of course, you can trust me with 20 billion naira to execute a project. So this is to encourage our beneficiaries and everyone. Please kindly get your PPA certificate, kindly register. If you need more information, please, our website is on the screen at bsu@lsctf.ng. And I'm also seeing another one, pos@lsctf.ng. Or you can just log into our website, www.lsctf.ng, for more information. Mr. Olaide and Mrs. Esther, I don't know if she's still there. Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. You've been amazing. And also kudos, like the executive secretary of LSTF will say, kudos to the business opportunity. This is to thank Oluwafunmilayo Eric Shobokola and Omotayo. Thank you so much for bringing for putting this session together. It has been amazing. I remember when coming, I was just like, let's just forget the other, which one is strategic procurement. It's quite a mouthful when you look at the name, strategic procurement for competitive advantages. But when you look deep down, you know, basically you need this. We're just talking about, please get your PPA certificate, register under the public procurement agency, and you are well on your way to becoming our partner. We can do business with you because you already have a foot in the door. So thank you very much to the organizers, BSU. Thank you, Mr. Olaide and Mrs. Esther. And to our viewers, our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. I know we've been since 11 o'clock till now. We would like to give you guys snacks, but maybe we can throw it wherever you are. We can fling it wherever you are. Just imagine that you are eating our snacks and you're having a drink. Thank you so much for listening in. If you still have any other information, I've already made mention of it, please log on to our website. Please use the email address in the chat box and we are ready to answer your questions. And not to forget, our employment summit is coming on. You don't want to miss this. We have so many speakers lined up. We even have a job fair. So if you are looking for a job or you have the qualifications, please come and talk to our people. They will enlighten you more on how to build your CV, how to position yourself as someone that can make a change. So I'm just telling you now, please, the Employment Summit is coming up July 3rd. Kindly log into our website. You see the www.lsctf.ng. You see everything about the Employment Summit, July 3rd at the Eco Hotel and Suites, 9 a.m. Please be a part of this and you will not regret it. Thank you, everyone, and have a lovely day ahead. Bye.
Thank you so very much, Christiana. Bye-bye.